Welcome, and thank you for joining this presentation of a business analysis reviewing Chipotle Mexican Grill. In this presentation, we will review the crisis situation impacting Chipotle, as well as the change processes, culture, and recommended processes and steps to enhance the organizational performance. This project consists of Brian Nuss, Joanna Rogers, and Nikita Weinberg, and is for Class OC 6447 under the direction of Dr. Lindsay A. Gibson. When Chipotle opened its first restaurant in 1993, the idea was simple. They wanted to show that fast food didn't have to have fast food experience. This is taken from the Chipotle.com company website. The company, whose name literally is a translation for smoked dried jalapeno chili pepper, is based in Denver, Colorado, and was founded by Steve Ellis. By 2006, Chipotle had tripled its revenue to $2.2 billion, and the chain had more than 1,400 restaurants operating in the United States, Canada, and the UK. Shareholder value by 2011 had maxed itself at a healthy $469 respectively per share. By 2015, Chipotle suddenly faced a myriad of issues and concerns that led their revenue and operating profits on a downward spiral. These issues included scrutiny over investigations regarding E. coli and food safety, which in turn caused difficulty in attracting not only consumers, but retaining talent and posed supplier problems as well, which disrupted their business processes. When it was all said and done, 55 customers in 11 states were initially affected in the first outbreak. Later, another 5 people over the course of 3 states came forward as becoming sick because of a second outbreak. The shares of Chipotle dropped nearly 15% due to this, and the negative attention that it emanated caused employees to seek other jobs and large public humiliation over the number of individuals affected. Per data from Food and Safety News, the number of people affected due to this catastrophe is more likely in the realm of 514. Our analysis on Chipotle will purely focus on the internal impacts that have caused major issues of attrition, depreciated morale, health and safety, as well as employees handling the crisis management in the press. We'll look into a supporting SWOT, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats that are posing additional concerns, and finally recommend a course of action and strategy map for helping to cultivate a more positive working environment.
Chipotle performed a root cause analysis, asking why multiple times to identify possible causes. Each cause was designated a countermeasure or solution for remedy. Since then, they have created a new state-of-the-art food safety program, increased both weekly independent audits and quarterly third-party audits, increased their funding for marketing and promotion and public relation efforts by $50 million. They also continue to scout out new stores for opening. Lastly, each location will continue to staff aggressively in preparation for a steep recovery. After acknowledging a 22% decline in sales from the previous third quarter in 2016, Chipotle announced plans to revisit its recovery plan with new additions of technology, menu innovations, traditional marketing, and a less expensive store design in hopes of a $100 million a year cut in operating costs. 6 Chipotle employees were interviewed. 2 managers and 4 restaurant team members ranging from 6 months of employment to 3 years. They were asked how they liked working for the organization, how they thought the change was implemented, and what else they would change about the organization. The pride of the employees was notable, as each had only positive expressions to share, including promotion opportunities, education programs, cleanliness, and remedy efforts. nobody had any suggestions for further change. One manager even closed with, "Chipotle is committed to food with integrity," which is a clear sign that the company's vision statement is properly communicated and lives well within the culture. We must also acknowledge, however, a possibility of bias in the interviews. None of the employees are experts in organizational change, so the perspective of change management is not textbook based, and each of them have a personal interest in the company. With that said, at the very least, we can conclude employees are happy enough with their employment at Chipotle that they would not say anything to jeopardize the success of the company. A constant acknowledgement of strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats will keep the company prepared for ongoing decisions. Here we assess each of those areas.
In the dog-eat-dog world of business, it often comes down to being able to do what the competition is doing, but doing it faster, better, more efficiently, and cheaper. After all, business is about making a profit. A common business practice used to discover and address opportunities and reduce budget for overhead is commonly referred to as overhead value analysis, or OVA. Developed by Porter, OVA identifies a variety of components that make up the model. The OVA identifies 9 core components. Fast food giant Chipotle capitalized on every one of these until recently when procurement became the fly in the ointment. Chipotle's commitment to providing customers with the freshest ingredients was their Achilles heel and also led to a drastic decrease in profits after patrons became sick. The root cause for the sickness was ultimately traced back to poor techniques for growing, shipping, cleaning, and processing the produce used at several locations throughout the United States. Porter has yet another valuable tool that we can use to assess the challenges that Chipotle is either facing or will face in the near future. Porter's 5 forces. Our textbook, Key Management Models, describes the 5 forces as an aid to evaluating the competitive arena for all perspectives based on 5 fundamentals. By identifying the strengths and direction of each force, it is possible to assess quickly the strength of the organization's position, together with its ability to make a profit or maintain profitability in a specific industry. When applying Porter's 5 forces diagram to Chipotle, the following is suggested. It is safe to say that the threat of new entrants to Chipotle's niche within the healthy Mexican fast food industry will continue to experience the constant threat from competition. Although it is expensive and time-consuming to enter the fast food industry, especially on a national level, new eateries are regularly emerging. We rate this force as moderate. The bargaining power of buyers is limited to the price points that Chipotle is able to afford after operating and purchasing overhead costs. Only time will tell if the devoted customer base will remain loyal to the Chipotle brand after their safety was placed in jeopardy. This category is rated low. In a world where many things can be reproduced, it is difficult to substitute quality produce, and any attempt to do so would go against the corporate culture of Chipotle as well as the demands of their customer. One could argue that the model may need to be slightly modified to fully capture the challenges experienced by Chipotle. The bargaining power of suppliers might need to be adjusted to incorporate the requirement for the freshest organic ingredients to be acquired locally by franchisees. Larger corporations such as Walmart and Starbucks have the bargaining power as a result of their sales volume to apply significant pressure from suppliers to conform to their needs. The bargaining power of suppliers will be high. One of the reasons for Chipotle's success was the lack of true competition. No one else in the fast food industry has been able to replicate Chipotle's fast food model at the same price point. Today, several competitors have moved in to challenge Chipotle. However, due to the high cost of entering and maintaining a successful presence in the fast food industry, this category is rated moderate. Unfortunately, all of the research involving models and analysis may be a waste of time. Chipotle recently revealed that the network used for processing electronic transactions at many of its stores nationwide has experienced some unauthorized activity. In other words, it's been hacked. If that's not enough, an assistant manager has been accused of planting a video camera in a women's restroom at a Chipotle in Texas. Only time will tell if Chipotle will be able to adapt and incorporate effective practices in acquiring produce that is both safe to eat and at a price point that does not decimate profits. Until then, Chipotle will remain at the mercy of its suppliers and its customers.
Reviewing the strategy map that has been developed for Chipotle, our primary buckets of concern for our balanced scorecard are financial, consumer, internal business processes, and learning and growth. It can be evaluated and presumed that once we have an engaged employment team that understands through transparent communication what our strategy is, we can focus on teaching the staff and employees proper food handling and safety inspections of food management. The internal business audit for compliance of such standards, along with guidelines for vendor and supply chain management, ensuring our backup plan for food delivery is solid, ultimately leading to a focus on consumers getting a safe product and satisfaction, will improve the company revenue and growth back to the timeline where we saw continued increased outcomes. While our main focus is to peer into the strategies that will help with internal employee constraints, there are other growth and strategy plans that can also assist the business from an outside perspective. But for the case analysis, we will solely focus on those that affect internal employee morale. Just for vetting, the strategies that could affect the outside influences are relaunching of a marketing campaign, realigning their commitment to not only their consumers, but also the safety of employees.